You are welcome. Life does not always give us easy roads. Sometimes troubles come our way. They come without warning us. Fear makes us want to run, want to hide or give up. The test of a man is not whether they face difficulty because everyone does, but how they respond, how they react when the clouds are dark, when the future looks uncertain, and when hope feels weak or bleak. Edgar Guest's poem See It Through speaks directly to these reactions. It is a poem about courage, about endurance, and about refusing to surrender. It is a poem that reminds us that strength is not about never falling, but rather it's about standing firm. It's about facing the struggle. It's about continuing with dignity, even when victory is not guaranteed. This morning or these early hours of today, I will discuss this powerful poem with you. And whilst I do, I want you to have this question in mind. When life puts us face to face with troubles, do we run from it or do we see it through? So I'll post the question on the screen. Do we run or okay, so because of the limited words, I'll just say what should we do? So what do we do? The rest couldn't come back. I'm sure you can see. So when life brings us face to face with troubles, what do we do? Do we run or we stay? So as I've always done or we always do or did, first I will read through the poem with you. Then we can now go ahead. So we have a Cynthia Miller Munoz. I hope I got that right. You are welcome. You. Okay. So this is the poem. I'll read to it first, then we start our analysis. When you are up against a trouble, meet it squarely, face to face. Lift your chin and set your shoulders. Plant your feet and take a breath. When it vain, when it's vain to try to dodge it, do the best that you can. You may fail, but you may conquer. See it through. Good, great, wonderful. Black may be the clouds around about you and your future may seem green, but don't let your nerve desert you. Keep yourself in fighting trim. If the worst is bound to happen, spite of all that you can do, running from it will not save you. See it through. Even hope may seem but futile when with troubles you are beset. But remember, you are facing just what other men have met. Don't give up. Whatever you do, eyes front. head high to the finish. See it through. Wonderful poem. Wonderful motivational poem. So for some time now, I've been taking you through a number of motivational poems. Is because I accept the fact that we face a lot of difficulties these days. But we cannot just run away from them because he who runs away from a fight lives to fight another day. So we just have to face it head high. And that is exactly what we are doing, or I'm going to do today with this poem. Teach you, take you through how to face these difficulties. The first stanza of the poem introduces the central lesson in the poem. That is, when difficulty appears, the best response is not avoidance, but courage, facing it head high. The persona says that when a person is, quote and unquote, up against a trouble, they may, quote and unquote, meet it squarely. This means facing problems honestly and directly, not running away from it, not shying away from it. The physical language used in this poem or this stanza is very important. Therefore, let's look at some of them. God loves you, okay, Cynthia? God does love you. I can see it in your comments. That's why I'm responding to that. So phrases like take a brace, and this is a physical language that creates the image of someone preparing their body for impact to be hit by problems. The persona is not describing a soft optimism. No, he is describing a people. He is describing people that are disciplined, that are ready to face whatever that life throws at them, and that are mentally tough to do that. The stanza, one very important thing I noticed when I read this poem first time, which I loved so much, is that the stanza one, together with other stanzas, accepts the possibility of failure. So this is not a prophet. This is not a poet trying to talk to you that when you face it, there's optimism, you will succeed. If you run away, you will fail. No, it's not a preaching poet. He completely accepts the fact that when you face it, you might fail. But he also establishes the fact that you might succeed. And I think a gamble of 50-50 chance is one of the best you can get. 50% chance of winning and 50% chance of losing. That basically means that you should not run away from it. So he says, and I quote, the person may fail, but they may also overcome the problem. They may conquer. This means the poem is more realistic than you can ever think of. It does not say life is easy. And that's what I love about Edgar's poems I've read so far. He says that even when success is uncertain, one must still try. Keep trying. Keep giving in everything. Just giving. Give out your best. And when you fail, you know deep down within you that you are giving your best before you fail. It's better than regret. I should have tried harder. I should have tried more. I should have stayed and fight. No, that wouldn't save you or that wouldn't help you. Okay, so we continue. Now let's look at stanza 2 of the poem now. Stanza 2 basically can be themed or termed as running away does not solve anything. If you run away, it will not solve anything for you, my followers or my listeners. So the second stanza deepens the emotional pressure that the poet is trying to present. The poet imagines a situation where the future looks dark and frightening. No hope in the future. The phrase future may seem grim shows a moment when people or when hope is or are weak and the person cannot clearly see a positive outcome. May is a possibility, by the way, but it shows uncertainty. It shows lack of hope. Now, this stanza, per my understanding and comprehension, or per my understanding or comprehension, is very powerful because it speaks to fear. Sometimes people do not run because they are lazy. They do so because they are overwhelmed, they are scared, they are afraid. The stanza recognizes that life can feel heavy, life can feel uncertain, life can feel hopeless. However, the poet warns that escape, running away, does not always protect us. It does not always contribute to the solution. It does not always help us to feel better or overcome our challenges. So the line, I'm quoting and unquoting, running from it will not save you, is one of the strongest ideas in this poem. I guess so. I'm just guessing in this case. It suggests that some problems must be, must the modal verb I use, the must be. So the must there is you don't have, it's not something that you should consider. It's compulsion, compulsory. You have to do it. So some problems must be confronted heads up because avoidance only delays the pain or make the situation worse off. Fighting through or trying here also suggests preparation. The persona encourages we the readers, and I'm encouraging you, my listeners or followers, to remain emotionally and mentally ready, even when the situation is difficult. So basically, the second stanza is teaching that fear is natural, but avoidance is not a solution. So I have a question. Why do people sometimes avoid problems they know they must eventually face? Most of the time in this life, people or we tend to avoid problems or situations that we must face eventually, or that we are so sure that we will definitely face. Why do we do that? The stanza 3 of the poem, which is the final stanza, can be themed endurance even when hope feels weak. Never give up when things seem bleak. The final stanza moves from courage to endurance. Here, the speaker admits that even hope can seem useless when problems surround a person. Sometimes you hope, you keep hoping, problems keep multiplying, you keep believing, it keeps multiplying. It gets to the point when your hope may seem useless. The important thing, or this feeling or statement by the poet, is important because the poem does not present motivation as constant happiness, as something that is constant or consistently going to happen in your life. No, but rather the poem or the poet shows that a person may feel tired at some points in life. A person may feel discouraged at some points in life. A person may feel uncertain at some points in life, but still continue life, still continue to struggle, still continue to face all this tiredness, discouragement, and uncertainties. The persona, the poet, also reminds us that suffering is not unique. It's not a one-man thing. Suffering was not created for one person. So anytime you face difficulties, anytime you face obstacles, anytime you are struggling, know that you are not in it alone because suffering is not for only one person. Other people have faced or had faced, have faced similar struggles and they will continue to face it. This does not minimize the pain, I agree, but instead it connects the individual to a larger human experience. It has a way of soothing your nerves, making you feel that I am not in it alone. It is not, my situation is not unique. My suffering is not personalized or man-made for me alone. It connects you to the larger human experiences, that it is a world of suffering and anyone or everyone goes through. The message is you are not the first person to suffer. That's his message. And others have survived what felt impossible. And if you want to bring this to real life, you can mention dreaded challenges, unthinkable difficulties, people falling from cliffs, people suffering from deadly diseases, people losing their lifetime achievements within seconds or in a split and still facing life. Some came out victorious, some got sunk in that they never recovered from it. But that tells you that some survived it, others couldn't survive it. But you are not alone. That is what you should know. You are not alone. Now let's look at some phrases that backs this up. The phrase "for still fighting" is especially meaningful. It suggests that dignity is not only found in winning. I love that when I read it. Dignity is found in labor, but dignity is not always found in only winning. Dignity can also be found in refusing to surrender. Therefore, the final image in the poem is, I quote, eyes front, head high, unquote. And this gives the poem a strong ending. It presents courage as posture, as attitude, as inner discipline. Face the challenges, face the problem, but do so with your eyes front. Don't look back. Don't look sideways. Looking back could symbolize trying to give up. Looking sideways could symbolize trying to give up. Eyes front. Keep your head high. Don't bow your head. Don't lower your head. Keep it high. And always keep fighting. As a way of concluding today's class, I want you to be aware or become conscious of the fact that the poem See It Through by Edgar Guest argues that real strength is not the absence of fear. Real strength is continuing even when the situation is hard, even when the situation is frightening or uncertain. Guest presents courage as action, that standing firm, facing troubles, preparing yourself, that the brace, and refusing to run. Life's difficulties must be faced with discipline and dignity. Facing it does not guarantee success, and he insists that facing difficulties bravely is better than surrendering before the fight begins. See you tomorrow or the next class for analysis of the themes in this poem. Have a nice evening, a nice afternoon, and a nice morning. Bye-bye.